then the purpose will be served better. So, before talking about academic writing, let me tell you that human beings are the special creatures. We all are special. And this is the belief that makes us creative, that makes us to create important voice in this world. Okay, I'm coming to slides later on. Let me just make a repo of this thing. So as a human beings, we have different theories of human beings. We have a theory of creation, and according to that theory, we have been created by Almighty Allah. Adam was the first human being, and if we are the followers of evolution, Darwin tells us that we turn to be human being after a rigorous process of evolution. It doesn't matter, and I am not here to tell you that we must be a believer or not. Either we were created or we were evolved. Human beings are special. They are special from all other species because they have been endowed with faculty of reasoning, and that faculty of reasoning is expressed through faculty of language. No any other species in the world has such a concrete system of speech. And in the beginning, language was all about speech. There are different theories. Your teachers from linguistics may shed light better on that. Since I am the teacher of literature, so I would rely on the sources that literature tells me. The savage human beings were used to go on hunt for their survival because the only way of survival was hunting. When they used to catch good prey, when they used to hunt a very healthy animal, they used to make certain gestures. Those gestures means the gestures of happiness. Once I was delivering this talk in a class and one of my students asked what type of gestures those were and what type of slogans were there. So basically my point is that in the beginning there was no language, so I cannot name it that what they used to do, but they must have been the expression of happiness. So they used to express themselves, they used to utter certain gestures that would have initiated the process of language. And from those distant voices, man evolved the system of speech. And then for centuries, man had only relied on the spoken language. And this is even the common norm of language even today. Our child learns to speak in beginning and he learns writing at a later stage. You will be surprised to know that when writing was invented, the scholars opposed that idea. Today we all hail writing as one of the best faculty of human beings, but you will be surprised to know that the greatest scholars of their time had strongly opposed the system of writing. Even the scholar like Plato. And you know what was Plato's stance on writing? Plato believed that with writing, human creative faculty will die. Because man will rely on the written discourse more, the science will take important significance in our life, and our faculty of reasoning, our faculty of thinking will be hampered with this new system of writing. But later on, today we all believe that writing has a very great role in our survival. If we are sitting here in this university, it is because we know a system of writing. Because though we are very much eloquent in our speech, we can speak very good language, but it is writing that survives. And it was the system of writing that has brought us to this university. Had you not been tested in writing, you could have never been allowed to sit in this hall. It was your writing that has created a difference in your life. And we are here to know what are the subtleties of that writing. How can we shape our life through writing? How can we create difference in our writing? Before I initiate my talk on writing, let me tell you that you all are special. Now you would come to ask a very silly question, sir. Amid 8 billion human beings, what is our position in this universe? We have the population of 8 billion human beings in this world. So out of those 8 billion human beings, a single individual, means Ibrahim Kokar, is take count to 0. Does it count either I live or not? For example, if I die right here, do you think that world would stop to cease? Ladies and gentlemen, world will not cease with my death, but for me, for my family, for my students, for my friends, for the circle where I used to be a very important part, the world will cease. So you have your significance. Never underestimate your power. The thing that always makes you shy of your learning is that you never value yourself. We have never been taught how to value ourselves. And when we are not being valued, it is our responsibility as a human being to seek value, to tell world that I do exist. It is our responsibility, because if you are a believer and if you believe in hereafter and if you believe that in hereafter Almighty Allah will ask you questions, this is my belief and you have permission to differ in this regard, because I am not here to preach my values to you. I am of the opinion that Almighty Allah will ask me questions about namaz and other activities later. First, He will ask me the question that I had created you as a human being. What did you do as a human being in that world? So, as a human being, we have certain responsibilities, we have certain duties, we have certain aims and objectives to achieve. And what are those aims and objectives? We mention these aims and objectives through a very systematic way of science, and that is known as writing. So, writing is important. If you will not write, the word will move on. If you will not write, for example, word will move on. Word is not waiting for your writing. But if you are writing, word will listen to you. The only way to make word realize that you do exist in this world is the way to present word a certain form of written paper. Either it is a written paper, or it is on blogs, or it is on e-form, in any way. So writing does matter. But we are here focused on academic writing. So when we say that we have academic writing, we must have a belief that there is another way of writing as well. So there are two types of writing. One is academic writing and another is creative writing. The purpose of education is to make us creative. But to be creative, we need to understand academic first. Because if you will not secure a degree from this university, the world will consider you a failure. Your target, your interest and your focus in this university is to seek maximum numbers. Is it right?
Yes.
Why do you study? Why do you devote your energies in reading a lot of books? Because you are meant to impress your teachers by a single copy, and that copy is to be assessed by your teacher, and your teacher determines your value on the basis of that writing. So it is writing that determines our value. And if you have this purpose of writing in your mind, your today's session will help you a lot. So academic writing is writing that is involved in academic environment. And what do you mean by academic environment? The writing that we use in school, the writing that we use in college, the writing that we use in university, the writing that we use in a formal mode of communication, for example in newspapers, for example in journals, in research journals. All these systems of writing are included in a big genre of writing that is known as academic writing. And this academic writing is quite different from creative writing. And once you understand the nuances of academic writing, you will be able to move to the next stage of creative writing as well. And as I have made it clear that our purpose as student, and especially for the student of English and student of media studies, both need to be creative. Because if students of media studies and students of English are not creative in their approach, then their entire practice is futile. We are not supposed here to read the poems written by Shakespeare and William Wordsworth. We read them so that we may be creative ourselves. If you only rely on the poems written by Robert Frost and, for example, William Blake and others, learning nothing of your own and not being able to translate your emotions and your feelings into your own words, your entire practice is futile. Do you think that life will be helpful or life will be colorful if you know the sonnets of Shakespeare alone? If you simply read the novels of Charles Dickens and William Makepeace Thackeray